Hello, it is Thursday, October 10th. And boy, this sounds good. Westwood One sent a technical guy to the box truck studio that we currently have in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I guess he fixed some stuff. Shout out to him. Very thankful for him. Also, very, very, very thankful for FanDuel because tonight's spread for the Giants-Patriots game seems like a lock of a century.
Yeah.
Seems like a lock of a century. And anytime you are saying that aloud, that means that Las Vegas is probably baiting you into a trap. But when I say this, the Patriots being minus 16.5 at home against a rookie quarterback who all of his weapons are out. Everybody that he can throw a football to is out, basically. And they haven't given up a touchdown, a passing touchdown since the 1970 merger. And it's Bill Belichick going against a rookie quarterback. And it's Tom Brady still playing football, even though Phil Dorsett is out, who runs a 4-2 something, by the way. I heard some people talking on television saying that Tom Brady needs a deep threat or whatever. They got a guy.
The guy's pretty fast.
They got a guy. They got a guy that runs 4-2. I get a chance to watch him with the Colts in practice. We didn't give him the ball much during games. I don't know how that happened or what happened there. But whenever he was practicing for the Colts, he used to moss folks. I mean, he used to make big-time plays on Wednesdays and Thursdays in practice. And I always wondered, why didn't we get him the ball on Sundays? I don't know. It just didn't work out with us. Happy that it's working out in New England. And when he got traded, I said aloud on any show I was on, I was like, if Phil Dorsett can do anything that he did for us on Wednesdays and Thursdays with Tom Brady, which let's assume they'll be able to figure it out, he's going to be a weapon for them. And he has been. So even with him out, Julian Edelman is what, questionable?
Yeah. But I read that him and Gordon are most likely playing.
Gordon also questionable. But it doesn't even matter. You have Tom Brady, a stable of running backs, the big brain of Josh McDaniels, going against a rookie quarterback. And a defense that has had some questions, I mean, they showed up there for a bit.
That was a good week.
2 weeks.
Against the Redskins.
They had a good 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just think that seems like that one should have been around 24. That feels like that one should have been around 24. So the fact that it's 16.5, as somebody who has had to play in Foxborough and as somebody who has never seen success in Foxborough, never. And there for like the first 4 years of my career, we played up there every single year because the Colts Patriots back in the day used to be must-see television. That was a miserable flight home every time. Every time it was a miserable flight. Not a single time in Foxborough were we like, oh, good win. Just didn't happen. You get murdered up there. That place is tough to play in. It's a tough environment. And Tom Brady, by the way, he's the greatest of all time. He feeds off of that crowd. Like, he is a type of guy that lets, like, emotions go. He's, he has a shirt that says LFG because he sprints down the field and does an entire thing to the crowd. Like, he is somebody that legitimately feeds off of good energy in the crowd. He might feed off of bad energy, too. I don't know. I've never talked about him. But he loves that type of thing. Some quarterbacks are just like, okay, we're playing nameless, faceless opponents, and I'm always going to be right here. But Tom Brady, he rides. Like, he gets going. And when he gets going, it normally tends to be a terrible day for the other team. And not just a bad day.
Yep.
Not just a bad day. Could be a terrible day. The only saving grace is potentially, the way you look at it, is that it's Thursday, and Thursday Night Football isn't real football. Which means, like, the teams aren't the best versions of themselves. Somebody still has a nagging injury. They haven't been able to prepare. They haven't been able to do whatever. So sometimes that can happen. But it's Bill Belichick. Let's assume that Bill Belichick, who has been winning Super Bowls since Daniel Jones was 4 years old or something like that. Let's assume he'll be able to figure it out.
Here's the thing.
This is a tough night for the Giants.
From the betting side, like, the first thing you learn about the NFL, if it's a 2-touchdown spread, you normally stay away from it because a lot of NFL games stay in there. But the Patriots this year have won by 30, 43, 16, 27, and then 6 against the Bills. And then you're playing.
But that Bills defense is really good.
Yeah, and then you're playing a Giants team who the defense did have good couple weeks, but other than that has not been great. And then they have no weapons, rookie quarterback. Thursday night, you would think Belichick has an advantage on a short week versus Shermer. All things pointing. I think you got to be a stooge to take the Giants tonight.
Well, either a stooge or a sellout.
Well, if you're a Giants fan, I think you're even thinking about taking the Patriots in this one. And whenever you say something like what we're saying right now, especially leading off the show with it, you are setting yourself up for massive disaster. If this is right, I would like just a little bit of a, we all knew it, Pat. You were just speaking what we're all saying, because I'm going to assume like 90% of the money is probably going to be on the Patriots.
You're right. When everyone normally says, like, that is a lock, that side is easily a W, it's a winner for the other side.
Yeah.
But
Somebody tweeted me
the
this morning.
Patriots are a different story, I think, when it comes to that. 80% of the bets right now.
On the Patriots?
Yep.
That number's probably going to go up to 18 before kickoff. That thing's get in now at FanDuel. I mean, that seems like a lock. Also, Clayton Kershaw giving up back-to-back jacks in the 8th inning, I guess for the second time in his career, in the postseason career.
Right. Never done it in the regular season before.
The Dodgers had the second best record in baseball.
Yes.
People were talking about them winning the World Series.
Best record in the National League. With a heavy favorite to go to the World
favorites.
Series.
So then a back-to-back jack, and then a grand salami knocks him out.
Mm-hmm.
Good for that other team. Who were they playing?
The Nationals. Washington Nationals.
Who, by the way, lost their guy, somehow got better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, happens sometimes.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of times one guy thinks he's bigger than the team. He wants everything to be about himself. You get rid of him, guess what? Culture changes a little bit. Boom, we're in the National League Championship Series.
Ty Schmidt.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I don't know that. Do we know Bryce Harper? Were we in that, what is it called? Dugout?
Locker room, dugout, yeah. Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. That's the baseball world. Clubhouse. Were we in the clubhouse? Do we know that?
I don't, but I watch a lot of baseball, and I just no one in that clubhouse. I don't think they're very sad to see him go.
It's very interesting because Bryce Harper was the only thing coming out in that other pitcher. They had a big
Max Scherzer, yep.
yeah, him and also
Strasburg.
and Strasburg. That was the guy. He was big, tall dude, right?
Yep.
Country boy or whatever.
Pitched last night.
Strasburg's from San Diego. But
Yep, that made sense to me. I knew everything about it.
But he is big.
he is a big guy.
It was those two.
Yep.
That was it. And then Bryce Harper leaves, goes to the Phillies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gets a massive. How much money?
13 years, $330 million.
Hilarious. That is so funny to think about that. Because, I mean, he put on a show that the MLB should be paying him that just for the home run derby and tell him just to compete every single year.
Him and his dad.
Because, him and his dad, it's always a feel-good story. He's been pitching to him since he's 3 years old. The whole thing, I always get all emotional. But the only time I watch baseball is in the home run derby and then a playoff game that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sounds right.
Which makes me a very, very knowledgeable person on this particular subject, especially because the only time I've ever played baseball was professionally.
Right.
So the only time I've ever stepped into a batter's box in a game, I was paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't play as a child. Didn't play in high school. My dad hated baseball. Hated it. He chose soccer over baseball, which, hindsight, very interesting because of the lack of action in baseball is the reason why he hated it. Soccer, some would argue, less action than baseball.
They wouldn't know.
Soccer has a lot going on, though. There's a lot of running. But in Americans' eyes, and let's assume that Tim McAfee is an American pretty through and through there, you would think he would have picked baseball instead. Hates baseball because he thinks that in some particular positions, you literally do nothing the entire day, and it's considered a competitive event. So I think my dad just hated it. So he kind of kept us away from it. Did well at soccer. I would watch my friends play baseball. Going to the baseball fields was a big deal whenever we were kids, let's go watch our friends play. I used to think, I'd probably be a pretty good baseball player because I could throw the ball very well, and I had massive legs, which anytime you watch baseball, it seems like the legs are a pretty big
A lot of power coming from your legs.
Yes.
Pitching, hitting, you name it. You would have been a very good
So
baseball
I always
player.
thought, I'd be a good baseball player. Still never played. Never, ever played. And then I played for the Washington Wild Things. Runners up in the Frontier League last year. Starting right. You're starting right fielder. You're ninth batter. Which, by the way, I thought they should have moved me up a little bit.
No. Second leadoff guy.
You're right. Second leadoff. You're 100%
A lot of
right.
good managers doing that these days.
Well, that's smart baseball. That's why the Washington Wild Things are a good team. Came in second in the entire Frontier League last year, which is a minor league.
It's a great league.
Great league.
A lot of good baseball comes out of there.
They sent me a DM, guy named Tony Baselli.
Yep.
Good guy. Hey, Pat, you want to have a bobblehead night or something at Washington Wild Things at our park because we grew up in the area. And I told Diggs, the message guy, back. I figured the Italians could figure it out, you know. I'll have my Italian message your Italian. Let's figure it out.
I love when things work like that.
And I go, Diggs, I want to play. Ask him if I can play.
I was like, what?
I want to play. I would like to play in the game. Jackie Moon style, I want to play in the game. And Diggs was like, all right, I'll send a message back. And he sends it back, and they're like, no problem. Sir, pick a date. Pick a date. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Played right field against the Traverse City Beach Bums, which are no longer a team. Some would argue that their victory lap was playing against the Washington Wild Things the night that I played. They won 17-0.
Classic Michigan, just getting rid of stuff.
Whoa. Hey, by the way, we filmed it all. It's a documentary, and that was about 1 year ago today, I'm pretty sure.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to that?
Yes.
Happy birthday to my baseball.
Wow.
Hey! Also, by the way, happy birthday, Brett Favre. Hey! All right. So with that being said, the price of that DVD that we're selling, comedic documentary, people are heralding it. Is that a right word?
Yes.
Yeah.
The greatest comedic sports documentary in history.
Mm-hmm.
I was mic'd up the entire time. I had a headset in. So literally as I'm walking into the batter's box my first time, stepping in there like I'm Rowan Gardner in the back corner, Rookie of the Year, facing a pitcher that was drafted by the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He was drafted by the Yankees.
Yeah.
92, 91 mile an hour fastball, let's get through.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Ronaldo, if I do recall.
Yeah, he was Dominican. It was something along those lines.
I think it's Ronaldo. As I'm stepping into the batter box, you literally hear me go, oh, boy. Just a natural thing. And I don't think there's any other documentaries that are like it. By the way, baseball has been doing a lot of mic'd up players with headsets in since our documentary came out because of it's a whole different look at a game. I wish you could do it in football somehow. I wish you could do it in football somehow. You can't. It's worth it. So as a man who is a professional baseball player, when I say this, I mean this. Got to have a good clubhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Got to have a good clubhouse. And that Mike Schilt guy for the St. Louis Cardinals, that guy's got a good clubhouse. I can just tell by the way he talks to the players. Most of them don't have a clue what he's saying, but he's saying it with good enthusiasm, good emphasis.
Yep.
Last night he let like 6-7 F-bombs fly. We'll have an entire take on that. It was almost like the Antonio Brown situation where Antonio Brown was filming Mike Tomlin before a playoff game against the Patriots in Foxborough, which he said he was going to go do something, and you can't win in Foxborough. That's just the way it goes. It was like that, but in the St. Louis Cardinals locker room last night, full swing baseball, full swing NFL, full swing life here. I'm feeling good today.
Hey, you ever dealt with someone on a team or something like that that shrinks in the moment like Clayton Kershaw does?
I don't know, actually. There was this beer pong partner I had. And not joking.
Well,
there is, by the way, I would signify that, like Adam Vinatieri, most clutch guy.
Yes.
If there's one cup left, Vinatieri is going to make that cup. Like, I take a lot of pride in if there's one cup left, like, I'm going to bury that cup. Like, right now, that is the only moment that you can compare in regular life to moments where you have to step up big, because it's a talent that anybody can do. It's a talent that you could probably do whenever it's not the lights on, but when the entire party is watching and there's one cup left on the table and the other team, let's say there's two, and your guy just made it, so now this is the step on the throat and win it. I think that is a moment that can compare to those clutch moments that people feel, because no matter what moment you're in, it's the biggest moment you've ever been in, right? So when I was in college, we played in some massive games. I didn't always perform well in the biggest games, in the biggest games, because I thought my entire life I was a second half guy. Like I'm a second half guy. I don't have a lot of endurance. I don't have a lot of thing, but in the second half, I am going to do what we have to do here.
They had us in the first half, but
yeah, listen, it's going to be a whole new game now. So, like back against the wall type feeling. I think I was always like that with soccer, always. So in football, I think I made a lot of mistakes in kicking balls where I didn't think about the first quarter kicks, the second quarter kicks, as much as I thought about the one. So I got like almost too relaxed in massive situations where I should have been like, hey, let's lock in. And I learned that from Adam Vinatieri, that every single kick is a game winner. Like even in practice, like he's kicking it as if this is a massive kick. There's no wasted reps almost. I wasted a lot of reps in college, which I think a lot of college kickers do, by the way, because the ability to flip the switch and take something serious is a whole different animal. So whenever you're in college and you're in that big situation, like, that's the most anxiety you're going to feel. So people are like, oh, all right, Super Bowl, this is going on. I would argue that, like, game winner, week 2, same amount of anxiety because it's the biggest moment of your life at that moment. It is the biggest moment of your life. So whenever you are at a beer pong table and you have no chance of actually having those massive actual sporting events, I think you can get the similar type feel of, like, how do you deal with your anxiety and nerves? And I think you got to be the guy that just buries that ball. And that's what I honestly feel like that is what I feel like Tom Brady would bury that ball every single time. He'd probably chug the beers that you make faster than you do, too. Just the entire thing. I think that is a very similar comparison. Clayton Kershaw.
He's bouncing that, and it's getting smacked to the moon.
Embarrassing.
Hey, Foxy.
Yeah.
Play some Chase Rice.
Yikes, you threw me off.
It's the perfect occasion for
That was quick.
vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is Chase Rice. Thank you so much for that banger. He is currently recording a new album, and he's on tour. Go check him out. Joining me in this box truck is @Tone Diggs with a Z. Do we still like that name?
I kind of do.
I'm cool with it.
I kind of like it, by the way.
I'm back on it.
When Foxy introduced Foxy to us, we all buried him.
Of course.
Now I'm not, well, there ain't nothing like the burial that you got on today's podcast, Pat
come
McAfee Show
on.
2.0, for a situation that happened at the Yankees game.
Allegedly.
Foxy the type of guy.
No.
Allegedly.
No. Definitely happened at the Yankees game.
Yeah.
For anybody that's ever been to a baseball game, getting a foul ball is like getting a free T-shirt at a football game, but even more because you feel like it's coming directly from the action.
A lot less limited opportunities, too, to catch an actual foul ball than,
Yeah, there's no bazookas coming out with 400 balls.
And athletes are touching the balls. They're not touching those
Guys.
T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. So the entire story is on the podcast today with the entire Richard Sherman interview from yesterday and an entirely, I mean, it was an in-depth story time with Matt Hasselbeck
Great.
about the NFL, stories about Hall of Famers that he played with. Matt Hasselbeck, whenever he starts talking, just there, it is a treasure trove of things that are going to come out because he's been in the NFL his entire life. He was a ball boy as a child, so he knows everybody, everything. And when he starts talking, it's incredible. But the story about Foxy just getting bodied at the Yankees game is worth a listen. Pat McAfee Show 2.0 podcast out today.
Guys.
All right, Foxy, thanks so much. Dawn, we got to get to our first break. We'll be back on the other side here. We got chatter about this baseball video that came out from St. Louis Cardinals. We got a little chatter about this NC State-Syracuse game tonight that I'm calling with Matt Hasselbeck on ESPN. By the way, last week I think was our best game calling it. If that football game on Thursday Night Football on Fox and the NFL Network, I don't know if it's on NFL Network now that DirecTV is not happy with it.
I don't think it is.
But if that game goes to trash, just know that there is an entertaining football option on ESPN. And I'm saying that strictly because I have ADD. I get bored. And when I'm commentating a game, it is normally a pretty good time for those that like me. Now, if you're listening to this and you hate listening, you're going to hate it. I mean, you're going to absolutely hate it. What's up, dude?
Have you seen the uniforms for NC State yet?
Dope.
Yes.
Dope night tonight. And it's going to be a packed house. I got a chance to talk to Tony Gibson, defensive coordinator for NC State last night. He was the guy that recruited me to West Virginia. So he and I have known each other literally since I'm 17 years old. I talked to him last night, and he was like, Pat, he's got a lipper in, he's from West Virginia. He goes, Pat, wait till you see this crowd tomorrow. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, these boys drunk all day. They are ready. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So it should be a fun night. Let's get to a break. Talk Giants, Patriots, Nationals, Cardinals. And baseball videos being leaked, does that actually help your team? My take after this. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on Westwood One radio stations and the Zone app worldwide.
Wide.
I just ran to the bathroom. It was about
It's not close.
I'd say about a quarter mile. I haven't ran in a long time, dude. That's what I just learned. I didn't think I was going to make it back.
You know, you look good, though. You look like you've been running.
Thank you. Everybody's been saying my arms have been looking bigger. Only working out the arms, eating everything. You only have to keep, you wear sleevelesses. You only have to
Especially
worry about one thing.
When it's getting colder out.
Hey, I'm really happy that we're no longer in just the sauna weather.
No.
yeah. Thank God.
Hey, being able to walk outside and not die is awesome. And I'm hot-blooded, too. Like, my lady likes it 75, 76. She would have it at the house if she could. She's cold, and I'm the complete opposite. Summer, and this last summer, it killed me, man. And now that I can wear pants outside, it's awesome. I mean, it's a good day. It's a good day.
It is a good day.
I'm wearing pants tonight in the booth.
Hey,
Whoa.
look at you.
First time. Went with jorts the first week. Jorts the second week. And I think I wore my tuxedo shorts that Cole almost kicked me off of WrestleMania for. And then tonight I'm wearing pants. Anyways, whenever you put on pants, it's normally in the locker room. Good transition.
Yep.
This video from the Cardinals locker room where Schilt,
Yep.
manager Mike Schilt, who led the Cardinals to a, was it 45-0 win yesterday over?
Yeah,
Pretty much. 10 runs in the first inning, tied a postseason record.
By the way, Atlanta, big-time Braves fans. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Chop on.
We have friends from Atlanta. David Coonan, dude, our agent.
Dude, I'm open.
Dude, he is a massive Braves fan. I was at the, did my phone just go, or my microphone just go out?
For a
You might be
second.
dead.
yeah.
might be
Did
pressing a
for
button there.
a little bit.
I don't think I was. Who knows what's going to happen here? But I was at the athletic director for NC State. He was having a cocktail hour, and it was at his house. Very nice house. I do not do well at cocktail parties, by the way. Weirdest thing I've ever been a part of. I actually, I just played with the dog the entire time. Matt Hasselbeck was talking to the AD, and I looked at the television. It was 11-1. I was like, oh, man. And I looked, it was like the third inning. I was like, oh, my God. They got demolished. And after that game, somebody was on their Instagram Live.
Yes.
I believe it was their Instagram Live. One of the players named.
Don't remember his name. All I know is that he is Cuban. And he just got called up in August. Very good chance he doesn't speak any English and knows nothing what his manager was saying.
So he could have used Zito up there translating for him, but Zito can't speak Spanish, so actually that wouldn't have helped at all.
Well, no, I could kind of figure it out when I explain words. I use my hands a lot.
So you're playing charades when you're speaking Spanish. For those that don't know, Zito grew up in a Cuban household in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
His entire family speaks impeccable Spanish.
Amazing Spanish.
He used to be able to speak Spanish, but he mixed his languages, English and Spanish, so bad that his Spanish-speaking family couldn't understand him, and his English-speaking friends couldn't understand him. So they took him to a hypnotist. This is a true story that happened to a real human on the same earth that you live on right now. He was taken to a hypnotist, and the hypnotist literally hypnotized you so you couldn't speak Spanish ever again, but you can understand it.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
A lot of people wouldn't understand how that is a blessing at all and mostly a curse.
Well, if you're walking around and people just speak a different language and you can understand it, but you just don't have to talk to them.
Okay, so that's actually a very good
It's a
call.
blessing and a curse.
So, but what if they know that you can understand them?
Oh, they
Then-
never know.
Then that's when the questions start coming, like, oh, K, like, you know what I mean?
I think I'd be a good spy. Besides, like, being able to talk to them back, but I think I can understand, like, if something was going down, I can understand every single thing.
Okay, funny you say that because I was in Morocco, and their second language is French.
Oh, yeah.
I took like what equates to about 6 years of French, both in college and in high school. And what I learned is I'm just like Zito. I could understand what they were saying, but I didn't have the word box, the word bank that I needed to fill in the words back. So I could understand everything there. Not everything. It was like one every 4 or 5 words because they were talking so fast, which teachers never told me how fast they talk. I mean, that thing was moving. We didn't do that at all. But I could understand like 1 out of 4 or 5, so I knew what the gist that they were saying, but I couldn't respond.
It's like
at all.
context clues, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the main difference here is I didn't grow up in a French-speaking family. You know what I mean? So that is the big difference. But anyways, this guy who's from Cuba, who creates incredible humans, by the way, Cuba.
Thank you.
Zito, you are a gem of an individual, honestly.
That means a lot. Thank you so much. I was gonna say very, but I said
Yeah,
thank you very
just
much.
stop. He's recording on his Instagram Live while the manager for the Cardinals, after a dominant performance, gives a William Wallace-like speech about the next round of the playoffs, where he says, the Braves started some beep. We finished the beep. And that's how we roll. No one fornicates with us ever. Now, I don't give a fornicate who we play. We're going to fornicate them up. We're going to take it right to them the whole fornicating way. I missed one. We're going to kick their fornicating ass. Okay? That's all caught on Instagram Live, which took me directly back to the Antonio Brown situation, where Mike Tomlin was in the background talking about how they're a-holes, I believe,
Correct.
up in New England. And everybody was like, oh, my God, I can't believe Antonio Brown did that. By the way, true. I mean, I took a photo of a guy almost naked in the background of a locker room. Recording in a locker room is a wildly aggressive move, but we're in a new age where new things are happening. So I'm sure nobody means that for anything bad to happen. It's just, it happens. So whenever that happened, everybody's like, oh, you just gave the New England Patriots bulletin board material. Oh, look out now. And I get how that could potentially be a thought. But let's just assume that Bill Belichick knows that other people are calling him an a-hole. And let's just assume that that isn't going to make him coach better or whatever. But let's also assume that the Patriots got a chance to check out what other people are saying about them. Whenever you're in your own world, you have no idea what people are saying about you in other locker rooms. And it's something that's kind of interesting that you would want to hear. So you're hearing it there. So is it motivating them? I think the playoffs would motivate the Patriots. Oh, boy. I think the playoffs in himself would motivate the Patriots enough. But I could see how in a combat sport like football, a little extra motivation could hurt you.
Yes.
Could hurt your team. Like, okay, let's not get the guys who are going to be fist fighting the entire day a little bit more anger or adrenaline, because that could potentially give them a little bit more wherewithal to last longer, that type of stuff. And do I think it's true? I don't think so, but I've never played in a position where I have to fight somebody for the 60 minutes or whatever. So you're going to have to ask those people if bulletin board material motivates them more. But in baseball, non-combative sport, it's literally just pitcher every single time. And if you get the pitcher more jacked up, probably not good for the pitcher. So I would argue that they should be recording live every single locker room, and they should be calling out the pitcher directly, right? Because if I know anything about pitching, I mean, I was a professional baseball player one time. The big thing is like keeping a cool head, right? Because all your stuff comes from like being relaxed almost, right? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, to a degree. I think the only difference is the really, really good pitchers can take that adrenaline and channel it, and then they're going to throw harder. Their breaking ball be a little bit sharper, but not everyone has that switch.
Like Scherzer would not be a person that you would want to talk about.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Because it could help him. And maybe the fastball pitcher is going to go a little bit harder or whatever. But I don't think any professional athlete hears another coach trying to fire up his team saying whatever and goes, oh, you better not. Like when I was a child, I played on this soccer team. We were pretty good, Beadling, in Western Pennsylvania. And our coach's method was his motivational speeches before every game when we were kids was that the other team was saying something about us. And I'll tell you what, that motivated the hell out of us. But that was before, like, I hit puberty and stuff. That was before, like, you know, you become an adult where you're like, yeah, that coach is doing his job and having. By the way, a lot of players were probably watching that like, oh, like I like that.
Yes.
Like I like that coach did that, as opposed to, oh, they're going to beat us up, huh? They're going to kick our fornicating ass. No, they're not.
I just don't think it makes a difference in baseball. Like in football, if you heard someone was talking trash on you on the other side, I think it does help. I think the little extra motivation, like Richard Sherman was saying yesterday, you're looking for it.
something.
You're looking for a little something. But in baseball, it's a team sport, but it's also an individual thing where you're trying hard. In my opinion, you're trying as hard as you can every single time because you don't want to embarrass yourself.
Yeah, because
you can't hide.
Hey, by the way, you can get embarrassed quick. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you can be one of the best pitchers of all time.
Yeah.
Literally, statistically, financially.
Yes.
And then you have two bad pitches in the eighth inning of a game. And now the entire conversation is, do you think he can make the last cup in beer pong?
Yeah.
Instead of this guy gets a big-time win. And Kershaw's a starter, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I heard Teixeira talking about That's Mark Teixeira, New York Yankee guy.
Close personal friend of yours.
We were close. Yeah, we took a selfie. I shook his hand. It was a rich-ass hand I shook.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Like
8 years, $180 million the Yankees gave him.
He's good.
baseball. Baseball's the best. They got to pay him because, what, they live on the road. So
Yeah.
they're basically just rock stars training, touring around.
Well, and the Yankees are just in a different stratosphere in terms of payroll.
Yeah. I shook his hand, though, and took a selfie with him. On my way out, I never do that, by the way. I knew Ty would appreciate it, though, because the guy was Yankees, and I had just become a Yankees fan after watching the Grand Slam from glorious D.D. Gregorius. I became a fan after watching one of their other fans, where we were sitting, body bag Evan Fox.
Just like Kershaw, just takes one ball, and you're done. You're dead. And that's me right now.
Pat McAfee Show 2.0 podcast to hear a burial of Evan Foxy, which he deserved, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
He knows it.
We got two guys that have played in the Super Bowl, and Pat and Matt Hasselbeck, that are acting like catching a foul ball is the greatest sports phenomenon
It
of all
is.
time.
Hold on, let's not give it away.
is.
Pat McAfee Show 2.0 podcast. There is a 20-minute story where Evan Fox just gets bodied and buried. But anyways,
A lot of people on the internet are saying Foxy last cup doesn't even get the shot off
Whoa,
because he just
whoa,
gets
whoa,
bodied
whoa,
before it.
oh, some like celebrity shot.
I'd like it to be known I'm a good beer pong player,
You
but I would like it also be known when we're doing a four-man scramble, I'm that fourth putter every time because I want the pressure.
Well,
Not contact sport.
go ahead and not make a couple of those early, and we'll find out if you keep doing that. I mean, that is a rotating position. Everybody knows that in every scramble, for sure. Did you just mute him? Did somebody just mute him? That's good.
Yeah, I did, sorry.
So I got a chance to talk to Mark Teixeira. And he said, I don't know if he said it to me or somebody else, and I was just eavesdropping. I think that's probably the case. But he said, like, in the playoffs, they ask these pitchers to do things that they never do. Like, never, ever do. They ask pitchers to throw on shorter rest, to come in and be middle relief, because it's, let's unload all of our bullets. So you understand why baseball teams do it and MLB teams do that. Yeah, it just broke up
Yeah,
again.
you're clipping hot.
You understand why they do that, but it is something where these pitchers who are routine animals, and I would assume they're super superstitious. I would
Oh, yeah.
assume.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever you get them out of that routine, it probably hurts them a little bit. But anyways, Clayton Kershaw, his entire legacy is ruined last night because of two pitches. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, it might be a little inside baseball, but basically what they were trying to do is they had a lefty-on-lefty matchup, so they were going to bring him in to get one out, essentially.
Hold on, this is interesting because I know nothing about baseball aside from being a professional one time. So this is something. You want the lefties pitching against the lefty hitters.
Yeah, so I was left-handed. It's just harder. The ball comes out differently. You see it differently than a right-handed pitcher. Like, it usually kind of breaks in towards you, so guys get, like, jammed a lot more and stuff like that. So he gets that one out right away, gets out of the inning, and they're thinking, okay, we'll go to the bullpen because they have a very good closer. But instead, they, season's on the line. You have to win the game. So they bring in, they leave Kershaw in, and he's got a right-handed batter who that's
Very good right-handed
yeah,
batter.
very good right-handed batter. Arguably the best hitter on the Nationals. He goes yard, and then it's at that point they should have taken him out there probably, but I guess you're thinking, okay, we got another lefty coming up, but he gives up another homer, and then it's done. So a lot of it does go on Kershaw because his velocity was way down. He was leaving the ball over the plate, big time meatballs, but also the manager. Dave Roberts mismanaged that big time.
Hey, by the way, don't you throw a meatball over a plate whenever I'm in there.
No. You hang him, we bang him.
Is that really a line?
Oh, yeah.
Sit dead red, go oppo.
What? What'd you just say?
Sit dead red, go oppo.
What's that mean?
You're waiting for something. Just sitting dead red. If it's right down the middle, take a hack.
I used to always say,
Good
throw me
2-1,
a spicy
3-0 count.
meatball.
That's what you would say, Zito?
Oh, yeah.
In the batter's box?
Oh, yeah. Every time it happened.
How many times
Oh, I can't wait.
have you stepped into a batter's box?
Are we considering adult softball?
Yeah.
Oh, over a million times.
Are you an adult softball stud?
I used to run a league as well, and yes.
See, there was some beer league softball team in Plumboro where we're from.
Yeah,
they
I
were like
played.
national champs or something like
Did you
that.
guys play 12-inch, the smaller ball, or like the big?
I don't know what that
16-inch?
means, but I know that the guy could have like the ball would like a knuckler.
Oh yeah, 12-inch. Oh yeah.
Zito.
He ran a league.
But baseball is kind of interesting in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
It really is. And maybe that's me just saying that because we went to a game and I enjoyed the atmosphere. Took a leak next to. Can't say that.
It got dumped once. I don't know if it did the other time, so we'll run with it.
Went to the bathroom next to Rudy Giuliani.
Oh.
He got swooped in and swooped out of there. I guess our bladders were one time synced up like Bluetooth. He was right next to me. And I try, everybody tries to keep conversation to a minimum at a urinal. I mean, it's kind of an interesting situation. Just kind of mind your business. He scoots in there right next to me, though. And I see this hat. And it looks like the hat looks like it's like a mask on it. Like it's down low, And I was like, well, this is interesting. Like, what is this thing? Yeah, very much like it's like down low, the whole thing. And I just look over, and I see Rudy Giuliani. And I'm like just kind of staring at him. And I look back forward. I'm like, don't be weird, dude. Don't be weird. And then we finish up. I turn around to go walk to wash my hands. His security people bring out some Purell for him, like literally out of the pocket, right for him. And then as he's walking out, before I wash my hands, it's kind of something I'll remember forever. I should have, but there was no time for me to do it. I pat him on the back and I said, good luck out there, man. Good luck out there. Rudy Giuliani is quite a topic of conversation for those that don't know. And he said, oh, thanks, you too. And I was like, I think we're battling two different things. And I just went right to the bathroom. I just went right to wash my hands. And microphone stopped.
I would have different words for Rudy.
What would you say?
I mean, he has prosecuted a lot of big-time mob bosses.
All right, we got to get to a break. My microphone's about done working. The Italian of the truck was about to speak up for all of Italia.
Spicy meatballs.
Spicy meatball.
Oh, no.
You hang 'em, we bang 'em. Before we get to a break, we must say that today is Brett Favre's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Today is my baseball career's birthday. 1 year ago today, I was playing baseball for the Washington Wild Things. And we got to get to a break. It is, ladies and gentlemen, it is Jose Zito Perez's birthday.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Zito.
Thank you, Pat.
I let off the show with saying it was Brett Favre, and that's why the mic isn't working. Happy birthday, Zito. We're lucky to have you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think your parents were potentially very embarrassed of you there for a little bit when he couldn't speak Spanish, but
I might have been a mistake, too.
yeah, but you're a happy little accident. That's what Bob Ross would say.
Just like ranch and barbecue sauce.
Oh, I don't do that. I don't do ranch and barbecue.
Put them together?
People do that.
No one does it?
Frank's Red Hot Sauce
Well, yeah.
and barbecue sauce.
Oh, whoa.
What?
That's my combo.
You mean Frank's Red Hot and ranch?
There's the one.
Oh,
I don't do that one.
How about Frank's Red Hot and ketchup, kachot sauce? It's delicious. Do it with your chicken tenders. Anyways, happy birthday. We're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Barbecue sauce and ranch, though. Interesting go about it, but I'm not a barbecue guy.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have you, bub.
Thank you so much.
The world is lucky to have you.
Oh, that's a stretch.
There will never be another Zito. Ever. So let's just enjoy it. Who knows how long it'll last, but we're lucky to have you. Happy birthday. This is the Pat McAfee Show. On the other side, locks on tops of locks. Cheers. Hello and welcome back to. Was it working?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I am Pat McAfee. I am surrounded by four men: at Tone Diggs, at Viva Lazito, at Evan Foxy, who got bodied at Yankee Stadium. Listen to the story, Pat McAfee Show 2.0 podcast that came out today with Richard Sherman and Matt Hasselbeck, and at Ty Schmidt. Before we went to the break, we talked a lot about Italy. Talked a lot about life due to Rudy Giuliani. We happen to have a degenerate Italian kid in the room. His name's Anthony DeGilio. Goes by Tone Diggs. He is a pretty successful gambler, to be honest with you. It's almost impressive at this point.
Yeah.
Ty, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Because when you gamble, like Vegas, Caesars alone makes $4.8 billion a year or something.
Correct. Yep.
4.8 billion a year. So anytime you gamble, there's a chance, pretty good one, you're going to lose. But Diggs seems to be investing in himself with these picks. He seems to be winning on a more regular basis. Now that we've said that, could he go 0 for forever?
Oh, yeah.
Very possible. That's just the way things go. Ebbs and flows. You're either hot or you're cold. That's the way it goes.
This week is a big recency bias week, and you'll see when we talk about these games.
Go to it. Let's do it.
The first one, Houston at KC. KC's coming off a loss. Houston's been looking good recently. So, is there a little recency bias there? KC's -5 at KC.
What are you going with?
I'm sticking with Kansas City.
Okay, I like Kansas City to bounce back here strictly because that Pat Mahomes in that second half looked like, now granted,
If he could walk.
if Pat Mahomes can play, I think a lot hinges on that. I like Houston playing well right now. I think that was only one game. So in the recency bias thing, them being able to protect Deshaun Watson and make Deshaun Watson look like the Seattle Seahawks game Deshaun Watson, where everybody was like, oh my God. Where Dabo Swinney's line where he was like, this guy is the Michael Jordan of football, looked to be coming true. It was like, yep, this guy is the truth. And I was like, for Houston Texans fans, good for you. You've had to battle through bad quarterbacks and bad offensive line while having an incredible defense year in and year out. Every time we played them, we knew it was going to be a game because the defense was damn good. They got a guy. Last week, it looked like they got a guy, and they're able to protect him, and they're able to set him up for success. Will they be able to do that? Everybody's in trouble if they're able to do that. And I'm talking about in the AFC South, everybody's in trouble if they're able to do that. Because that's just what the Houston Texans have been missing, is a playmaker on a consistent basis. And as of late with Deshaun Watson, a guy who doesn't get his ass kicked every single game.
Right.
I've mentioned on a couple occasions that I fear with nowadays how you can make money in so many different ways, good money in so many different ways involving social media and things like that, you're going to see a lot of players retiring young because they're going to know that there's other options out there to make cash. Yes, they might miss the game, but they know that they've got a good bank account already. There's other things to do. And with more and more science coming out about the long-term effects of playing a game where you're getting beat up, not just football, boxing, MMA, everything, where you potentially get basketball even.
Yeah.
Where you get beat up a lot, I think there's going to be a lot more people that think, you know what? I've accomplished a lot here. I'm done. I thought there was a chance that could happen with Deshaun Watson because of his ass getting beat. Andrew Luck retired literally because he said the joy of the game had been sucked out of him through all of his injuries and rehab and this. I think he said surgery, pain, surgery, rehab, repeat, basically was his career. Now, granted, Deshaun Watson, last offseason, he had surgery and a rehab, I believe, right? Last offseason. If that was to happen again, that could be a problem, but they protected him. He could be great, but I just feel like Kansas City is a team that would bounce back.
I don't think you have to worry about that with Deshaun yet, because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe him, Patrick Mahomes, same draft class, they have not got their second contract yet.
No, I agree. They're going to get broken off. I'm talking
later down.
Yes, like 4 years, 5 years down the road. They're not. I don't think they're going to be playing forever. I think they're going to be out of there. But with the way he was getting his ass kicked, there was a lot of question marks every single year on if the Houston Texans were going to be worth the damn because the offensive line was bad. They tried to make it better with Laramie Tunsil. They tried to do that early. It was like still not helping. But have they found something? I'll be interested to see. I'll be very intrigued to see if they have. I like the Texans there. If Pat Mahomes can't run. If Pat Mahomes can run, if there's any video of him in practice, please tweet that to us so we know if he can move and he's still able to make plays. I think they're a very different team. I'll go with Kansas City.
Another primetime recency bias game. Seahawks came off a big win Thursday night. Browns looked terrible on Monday night. Seahawks at Browns. Browns are +1.5.
This scares the hell out of me.
Right?
This should be a lot more than 1.5. Everybody knows that this should be a lot more than 1.5. If you're a gambler, an average gambler, whatever you are, you look at that line and you go, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That Cleveland Browns team has looked like garbage on Monday night. They looked bad, demoralized in San Francisco. And that Seattle Seahawks team looking good in games, winning. I guess they're all kind of tight games, though.
Yes, they are.
They're all very tight games. They kind of keep up with whatever they got to keep up with. Russell Wilson's having an MVP season. Everybody's talking about it. Tyler Lockett just came out on Schefter's show, said he's saving himself for marriage. He's a virgin. He's always going to be focused. He's going to have big games. But it feels like that's an easy cover for the Seahawks, and that's probably the problem. So what are you going with?
I think we'd go Browns.
Just strictly because of Vegas being Vegas?
Yeah.
And this could be a big-time bounce-back game for a lot of superstars that got embarrassed on primetime television. That's actually a pretty smart little field there. Now that I'm thinking about it out loud here, which is probably something I should do before the show, in my head, I can very easily watch the games on Sunday and see, oh, yeah, the Browns bounce-back game. Wait a minute. We should have known that. Seattle's traveling from the Pacific all the way over there. That's something you could see. But I just don't think Russell Wilson's going to keep his foot off the gas enough. They win by at least a field goal.
A similar one to that point, the Saints are dogs at Jacksonville Jaguars. That's just a weird line. Saints are 1-point dogs at... Oh, my bad.
That's all right. How?
Right.
I'm going with the Saints. Hey, you got me.
Yeah.
I took the cheese, Vegas. I took the cheese. I'm going with the Seahawks, and I'm going with the Saints. And maybe I should be smarter than that, but I'm not. And I don't know why people listen to the show. Well, we got a whole nother hour on the other side of the break. Happy birthday to Brett Favre. Happy birthday to Zito. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is, Chase Rice. We appreciate that. It is 11:01 here on this Thursday, October 10th, 2019, or it is 8:01 if you're Pacific Standard Time, or it is 10:01 if you're Central Standard Time. Whatever the time is, wherever you may be, we can't thank you enough for listening and watching. If you're over there in Italy, grazie. Appreciate that. I have no idea what time it is over there.
See,
Is that Spanish or Italian?
both.
Anyways, welcome back to Pat McAfee Show. Ty Schmidt's here. Evan Foxy's here, who got bodied at Yankee Stadium this past weekend. Hear the entire story on the Pat McAfee Show 2.0 podcast. At Viva La Zito is here. It is his birthday. Happy birthday, Zito.
502 in Italy.
There it is. At Tone Diggs is here with a Z. The Degenerate gave us some locks here just a couple minutes ago. We'll hit that back here later in the hour. Once again, we'll give you some more picks so we can all get rich from our friends at FanDuel. When I talk about a lock, okay, normally bad things happen. I locked up the Pittsburgh Penguins last year going into the playoffs. It was the first time in like 2 decades they lost, like got swept first 4 games out. And I was screaming from every mountaintop that the Pens are a lock. Whenever I locked up the Super Bowl, went the other way. When I get on this pedestal and I start dancing on it, that my brain knows a way for us all to take money from the humans in the desert. History has shown us that it's not always good. But when I say that tide is going to turn this evening, that tide is going to turn this evening. I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know how much you can dance with. But if I were you, I would be taking out Thor's hammer. I would put my hand up and it would go right into my hand. Now, I'm not talking about drunk Thor in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about back when Thor was ripped and had good hair and that hammer was huge. And whenever he swung it.
Either or.
Let it swing.
Is swang a word, by the way? No way.
I don't think so, but it's so popularized in terms of slang that I think people get it.
So those little slangs say swang?
Mm-hmm.
When he swang that thing, and that thing hit the ground and it just I would take that hammer and I would put it on the New England Patriots minus 16.5 tonight. And it might be at minus 17, by the way, with how hard I wanted this in the first hour. Mm-hmm. They might have changed it strictly because of this show. But to think that Daniel Jones, old Danny Dimes, old Duke face, who had an incredible couple weeks to begin this, and I am a fan of. I like Danny Dimes. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. He's much more athletic than you could ever imagine for being a nerd from Duke who has to be tall and looks like an unathletic kid. He's like a freak athlete almost. Mm-hmm. Incredible quarterback. He was able to inspire something in that team to get them a couple wins. But to think that he will be able to, on a short week with limited preparation, not that he only has a few weeks of preparation to begin with because of how long he's been in the NFL, but now a limited work week, like 2 days worth of work, can go into Foxborough, one of the most notoriously impossible places to win. Impossible. And play against Bill Belichick's mastermind against a rookie quarterback, Tom Brady, who is out Philip Dorsett, who has become quite a weapon for them. But everybody else is going to be playing, from what I'm being told.
What I'm being told as well.
That they're going to play. Even if they don't, to think that Tom Brady is playing and Bill Belichick is coaching, the thought that Danny Dimes can keep that thing within 17 points, I think is a farce. I think that is asking a man for an impossible task. I think this is going to be a big one. When I looked at that and I seen it this morning, I thought that thing should have been near 24, maybe 28. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, can that Giants defense, who beginning of the season stunk, couple weeks did good, last week did bad again, can they flip the switch and stop the greatest quarterback of all time? That's going to be their only hope, that he keeps them, because a quarterback has not thrown a touchdown against the New England Patriots yet this season. That's the first time that has happened since the 1970 merger. I'm not saying they're playing against Aaron Rodgers or anything like that, but to think that on a short week where the offense gets limited time to game plan, we'll be able to figure out a way to keep up with whatever Tom Brady can do in that offense, who hasn't looked incredible. Second half against Washington, they turned it on. Hasn't looked. To think that old Danny Dimes has a chance to keep it within 17, I think is hilarious. I think that is a hilarious thought, and it's an impossible task, I think. Because going into Foxborough, you're not only taking on their Minutemen or whatever the hell it is who's got the guns in the back. You're not only taking on the entire town of Fox. It's like, never gets talked about, it's like Green Bay. You drive through, like, homes, and then you make a right down a hill, and then you're like, oh, damn, we're in the stadium now. You're taking on an entire section of the country that goes in there, and they are not sober, and it is insane. And Tom Brady feeds off of it. Some quarterbacks try to keep an even keel. Some quarterbacks don't try to acknowledge it. It's just nameless, faceless opponent. Tom Brady has been a person that feeds off of that energy, runs down, does the whole thing. Watching his new backup quarterbacks figure out how close they should be during that is very fun, where he runs down all the way to the other end and he starts screaming, let's go. That's awesome to see, by the way. But at home, that type of environment just only spurs on the greatest to be even greater. And I just think that minus 16.5 tonight, you take that hammer, since it's baseball season, playoffs, you crow hop even.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Like that, what, Zemansky? Is that
Yeah,
the guy?
oh yeah, Tommy Mansky.
Who?
Tommy Mansky.
You crow hop like old Mansky taught in those DVDs as a child when it was on at 2 a.m., and you take that hammer and you break the earth with that minus 16.5, and we all have a great Friday tomorrow when we wake up with cash in our account.
You compound everything you just said with the fact that Daniel Jones is arguably missing his 4 best playmakers on offense, they might get beat by 50.
And I preface this entire thing with the thought that the last 2 times I have done this, we have gotten smoked.
I think we're all right tonight. This game's got 31-10 written all over it.
And with that being said, if that game gets boring, there's a game on ESPN that I'll be calling with Matt Hasselbeck and Adam Amin and Molly McGrath. Syracuse travels to NC State to play the football. And I'll tell you this, every single time we call a game on Thursday night, something very entertaining happens. Now, last week, that Seahawks game was incredible. But if this game turns into what we think it's going to turn into, which I think 80% of the money...
85 now?
This is kind of scary now. Vegas is very big. They got a lot of chandeliers for a reason. They have to know something that we don't. And I will take the cheese. I will do it. I think it is going to hammer. If that game gets boring, come on over to ESPN. We got some magic for you.
FanDuel still has it at 16.5, but it's minus 125, which is a lot of juice just on a normal line. Normally it's like minus 110.
Dude, the thought that that isn't near 28 makes no sense to me. And it's not Danny Dimes' fault.
No.
It's not your... Andrew Luck went up there and got beat by 50. Now, granted, they were using flat balls. They were throwing footballs that were 140. For those that don't know, that is a complete joke. Anybody that played in that game gives 0 damns about how inflated or the deflator or anything that came out from that entire thing. That was all ridiculous BS that we hated talking about as Colts because we lost by 50. So they're like, well, let's talk about deflate. I'd rather not. I mean, we got killed in the AFC Championship game. I mean, we were in the AFC Championship. We're 1 game away from the dance, and we just get slaughtered in Foxborough, which is what happens in Foxborough on prime time. Now, granted, that Kansas City Chiefs won a couple years ago, first week of the season.
Yeah.
I can argue the first couple of weeks of the season, teams aren't hot, right? Teams aren't ready. That's like just like the Green Bay Packers, where I think they're going to be tough. Offenses haven't got going. Even the greatest of all time. And I think there was some drama offseason that year with Tom Brady and the team. I think there was a little bit of drama between potential friends who was friend. I think something happened in that offseason that was a little bit different. Nonetheless, they still probably went on to win the Super Bowl that year, but that's just the way the Patriots are. The Chiefs went in there and smoked them with Alex Smith. But other than that, I think you're hard-pressed to find primetime games up there where the Patriots don't perform very, very well.
Belichick 12-3 since the year 2000 on Thursday nights.
He's the best coach of all time. Let's assume the shorter week helps him, doesn't help the other person.
Also, there's been some dummies the last 2 weeks who have been questioning the Patriot offense. So this could possibly be a get-right game. Not Not that they're not right.
Hey, Tom
but just
Brady-
to shut everyone up.
Tom Brady feeds off of that, by the way.
Yes.
Just a couple weeks, he liked a video that said the offense was struggling or whatever. He liked the video. So even if he accidentally hit the heart, which is possible, especially with the way Instagram has the heart so close to the side of the phone.
That's tough.
I mean, they set you up for
Divorce.
Jesus.
Jeez.
You like the wrong photo. You are getting divorced.
Well, I don't argue that. I'm talking about me having to have awkward conversations with people I haven't talked to in
Like
years.
in comments.
Yes.
That's the.
Oh,
Yes.
that's on me.
Like you're just
Yeah,
trying to.
Diggs.
Tony.
By the way, that probably
Well, they got
has
rid of that, by the way.
when.
Instagram, you can't see, like, there used to be the feed of you could see, like, what people were doing, what they were liking. Got rid of it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean?
So, like, there was you could see, like, who was following you and stuff like that and who was liking your stuff. But then there was a feed of, like, the people
Oh,
you
yeah, I heard about
the
that.
people you follow. You could see what they were liking.
So every once in a while, I would accidentally end up there when I'm trying to get the IG story, and I was on
Yeah, yeah,
notifications and said, I had no idea what it was. It looked like coding to me.
Correct.
I literally stayed out of there. I had no clue what was going. And by the way, I don't do the Instagram that well. By the way, I mean Nick posts the IG stories there for me. He just rips them and puts them up there so people can watch our show on there and know that the show exists. And I'll do some stuff with like Sam and on the IG. I enjoy the IG story department of it. The rest of the app, I don't fully understand. I don't fully get it because I was on the Snapchat whenever Snapchat first came out. And I was doing good on the Snapchat, and I kind of got sick of it. And then some things happened, you know, with other people getting caught up in some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think Snapchat isn't really my place. So I kind of left. And then IG introduced the IG stories, and I'm like, yo, okay, this is kind of just like Snapchat. Let's do it again. So I enjoy that. But the rest of the app, I do not understand. I have no idea how you grow an Instagram. I have no idea what I'm supposed to post on there in the main thing. Sometimes I'll post something I think is terrible. It'll do well. Sometimes I post stuff that I think is good. It'll literally get like the least amount of views I've had probably in the last 10 years. I'm like, what is going on? Do I do this right? I don't think I do it right. So the fact that I thought they were getting rid of likes.
That was also another story, but this one actually did happen
Yeah,
already.
I think they got a lot of blowback on getting rid of the likes, so they said, all right, fine, we're not going to do that.
Zuckerberg will push that through, dude.
Oh,
If
yeah.
Zuckerberg wants to do something, Zuckerberg's going to do something. That's just the way it is. Sir, we sell ads. Zuckerberg.
We sell ads, Senator.
Let's get to a break. There's probably a point I forgot to get to there. If I had to guess.
Brady playing well because people were talking bad about the offense.
Yes, it motivates him. He's a guy that thrives off of that stuff. I learned about the love languages last night from Matt Hasselbeck at dinner. Molly, Adam, the entire crew. I had no idea those things existed. I guess that's how people operate in their emotions. Which, by the way, I just started feeling recently because I've been exhausted. Good for me. So I learned about the love languages last night. Probably make me a better fiance to my lady Sam. I hope. I mean, honestly, I had no idea such a thing existed, and they looked at me as if I was an alien because they knew all about it. There's also a competitive language in what drives people. Some people are driven by money. Some people are driven by people who have talked bad about them. And some people are driven completely out of spite. Tom Brady seems to be a guy that drives off of spite. When people say bad things, he keeps going. I think that's why he does so much social media, because he doesn't have to deal with anybody that he doesn't like. And he crushes on social media, too. By he, I mean Tom Brady team.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't judge him for. It's smart. That makes me respect him more, by the way. And I think the world is going to have to respect the Patriots of 2019 when they hang a 70 burger on them tonight. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We are live in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is a beautiful town, by the way. This is a very beautiful town. I guess they call it like a Silicon Valley of the South.
Oh.
I guess Google has a headquarters here. Amazon and Apple all have headquarters here. So it's a bunch of tech folk, you know, with big old brains and big old bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of very nice houses, good housing market. I looked up houses in Raleigh last night while I was driving around from place to place. I was like, man, this is a real, I could see myself living here. And I looked up the house. I was like, I bet you it's real expensive. Nope, it's not. This is a good city. I'm a big fan of what we got going on down here. A lot of hipsters. We got Willie Mcginest joining us at 11:40. That should be a cool conversation. I mean, I just kind of slipped that lot of hipsters in and just moved right forward.
Which was surprising for Raleigh, North Carolina. Wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. There was like a speakeasy we walked by last night on the way to the dinner. A lot of those types of feeling events in Raleigh. You get it. Speaking of rallying, Clayton Kershaw's team did not rally for him after he gave up back-to-back jacks last night. Jack. He really did. 8th inning, Clayton Kershaw's entire legacy is now on the line because in 2 postseason appearances, he has given up 2 home runs in 2 pitches 2 different times.
Correct. Never done it in the regular season.
This guy is a superstar in the regular season. Whenever the show begins, he has fallen into 2 situations where he has pitched a meatball, he's left it hanging, and the other team went banging.
Nailed it.
Ted Dead Red.
Sitting dead red.
Sitting dead red, taking an oppo. 2 people sat on his pitch and took him yard. See you later. The Dodgers would eventually go on to lose by a grand slam in the 10th inning. That is a tough way to end a season that has 400 games. All of the year is spent traveling town to town, hitting baseballs, throwing baseballs, doing superstitions on buses, on planes for 182 games. All of this, it's a miserable life. If I had to guess, I was a professional baseball player for one night. I didn't do the entire season. That has to be a miserable life. To do all of that and to have the second best record in baseball this year in Los Angeles with the talks of the World Series. So the hopes are big. To have the lead in the 8th inning and then give up back-to-back solo home runs to tie it, then lose by a grand slam in extra innings, that has to be a tough way to go out. And now the conversation is, can Clayton Kershaw show up when it matters? And did the manager manage the entire thing right? Ty Schmidt played college baseball, avid baseball fan. He's got a hose of an arm from Iowa. Chose Iowa over Harvard. Yes, he got accepted into Harvard, Ty Schmidt. Chose Iowa over Harvard strictly for baseball. Loves the baseball.
Yeah, big baseball guy.
Says it's not just Kershaw's fault, although he stunk last night.
He did.
Also the manager's fault. And if you don't know baseball like me, this should be enlightening. If you know baseball, you're probably going to call me a dummy for not knowing this stuff. But why is the manager to blame at all instead of Kershaw?
Because like we've talked about, when I said playoff baseball, every situation is kind of like heightened more. So you'll see like a lot more pitching changes. Guys will go to the bullpen. They'll come in and face one batter and then get out of there. Like you're playing matchups very specifically. And especially in like situations like that, like they're very concerned with who's going to be pitching to certain hitters based on how many times they face each other over the year, or just, what that guy's splits are against left-handed pitching as opposed to right-handed pitching. So there's just a lot more that goes into it there. And again, it's, the season's on the line. Kershaw didn't start last night, but he's arguably the best pitcher in baseball, a lot of people would say. So, you're in a tied game like that. You're thinking that if we bring him in, he's at least going to be able to get us to Kenley Jansen, who is their closer, who throws heat, very good closer. And, it just backfired. They left him in too long. Yeah. He gave up 2 dingers, and that's that.
And that is that for the L.A. Dodgers. And on the flip side, the Nationals, that's who beat the Dodgers.
Yes, correct.
The Nationals get rid of Bryce Harper with the incredible hair, the incredible handsome, big lefty, dong shot hitter. Boom, get him out of town this past offseason. Big news that the Philadelphia Phillies picked him up. They paid him
$330 million.
Laugh. That is awesome. Good for Bryce Harper getting that. But everybody said this Nationals team no longer has their star. They're not going to be good. Bang, here we are advancing in the playoffs. Good for the Nationals. And they got this 20-year-old kid who swings a lumberjack. Nope. A telephone pole like a lumberjack. Is an animal of a man, Soto. And baseball is almost interesting here during the playoffs. Like, it is actually, last night I was intrigued by what was happening. I turned on the television, and it had just ended, so I was watching the celebrations and the recap and everything like that. I think baseball can be interesting here for like a month and a half.
Yeah, for sure. And especially with situations like that, like the Nationals kind of have like a cardiac kids thing going right now, like almost a team of destiny. They had to play in the play-in game in the wild card. They're down 3-1. That was the game that you first watched this year.
Oh, yeah.
Against Hader, who's probably one of the best relief guys in the league.
Exactly. They end up coming back, winning that game, and then, take the Dodgers to 5 games, beat them in L.A., which very, very few people thought they would do. And now they go against a Cardinals team who's also playing pretty well, but it's almost anyone's game to win the pennant.
Teams of destiny. The Patriots after September 11th, right? I think we could all have said that. The Saints after Katrina.
Yep.
Though we were on the Colts were on the opposite end of that. Just a team of destiny. They hit an onside kick to start the second half in the Super Bowl. Thomas More said it's a beautiful ball. They get it, pick 6, they go on, boom, boom, boom. They win. The Nationals, you said, are a team of destiny?
I mean, it kind of looks that way. Anytime you're in a situation where, like, the percentages of them...
Is it because Bryce Harper left? So we got September 11th, Katrina, and Bryce Harper leaving?
I mean... I don't really like he is a good player. I don't really like his personality or anything like that. I wouldn't go as far as to say he was like a clubhouse cancer, but I also don't think a lot of the guys on that team were really that sad to see him go.
That looks like a tight team over there.
Yeah,
they were dancing. They had choreographed dances in there, and I feel like in baseball, you're around each other so much that camaraderie would be high regardless. But I would assume with that much money, there has to be egos. That team looked awesome last night. And then the Cardinals just beat the Braves by 45 runs. And that's just an absolute blowout last night in Atlanta, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, both teams had to go on the road and win. The Cardinals, too, you score 10 runs, you're obviously going to win most games, but that's also tough to, you score 10 early like that, it's easy to get complacent and kind of let them just chip away and come back. Didn't happen, though.
After the first inning when they were up 10-0, I bet the Braves plus 9.5. I figured they'll cut into it. They're not going to win, but it might be like 10-4, 11-4, something like that. It was not.
Yeah, they showed no signs of life.
We lost that one.
They showed zero signs of life. It was like that Yankee game the other day. Whenever that grand slam was hit, I was like, all right, the other team's going to make a play. And Ty looks at me and goes, no, they're not.
Not the Twins.
This team is dead. I was like, that's insanity. But playoff baseball, every pitch matters, I guess, is what I'm told. I would like to be able to have the ability to just flip in there whenever good stuff's happening and be able to bounce out, but I guess that's not the case.
The Astros better win today because Astros-Yankees is a series that everyone deserves.
Why is that?
They're the two best teams in baseball.
Yep.
What happened to the Dodgers? I thought the Dodgers were best team.
Well,
the NL.
The American League is much better than the National League is, just kind of overall. And in terms of like pitching and hitting, the Yankees-Astros matchup is what everyone wants to see.
All right. I'm a Yankees guy because we went to the game and got on television. I'm also intrigued by this Suck Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
That's going on this weekend. The Suck Fest for the number 1 pick. People are saying everybody's tanking for Tua. What if they're just hurting for Hurts? What if it's actually Jalen Hurts that they're looking for? What if Lincoln Riley has the 3 number 1 picks in a row? Do you know how easy it has to be to recruit if you have the number 1 pick 3 years in a row?
It's unbelievable.
Lincoln Riley just has to go hi, how's it going? I'm Lincoln Riley of Oklahoma. You know that. I don't know if you pay attention at all to anything, but if you want to be in the NFL, I get everybody rich. And they go, yep, we'll go there. Bang, recruiting's over. Give me another number 1 quarterback. That transfer portal, whoever has a superstar ability is looking to get there. De'Aaron King, by the way, of Houston.
Yeah, probably.
He got redshirted after beating Tim Tebow's record literally the week that we called the game in Tulane. He breaks some football record for most games in a row, I think, with a touchdown running and a touchdown passing.
Right.
He did that on Thursday Night Football a few weeks back. Got redshirted immediately after. Everybody's like, he's going to stick around. I'm like, well, unless Lincoln Riley calls. If Lincoln Riley calls, that dude's out of there because Jalen Hurts looks like a real football player all of a sudden. a real good quarterback. Everybody's assuming that these people are sucking for Tua. Maybe. Tua's an incredible talent. But what if it's Hurts that everybody's looking at? He's bigger. He seemed to have learned how to really throw the ball well. Not that he couldn't before. I just didn't know enough about him. I don't think Alabama ever did that. He's coming under tutelage, but granted, Kyler and Baker have not performed great for
does
Lincoln
that hurt
Riley.
Jalen?
I don't know. That's very interesting. Let's see what happens, but there is teams competing for that number 1 pick regardless of who it is because it means so much.
Yes.
You can trade it away. I mean, the Washington Redskins are a fine-run organization with Dan Snyder. Very
well-oiled machine.
Everybody knows
Damn
that.
good culture.
They traded away. Exactly. We actually have a damn good culture. Bruce Allen, the president, said that. He wouldn't lie to us.
No.
That guy doesn't seem the least self-aware human on earth.
Yep.
That guy knows what's going on right under his nose.
All the time.
That guy has no idea that they've sucked forever. They're also in the suck fest. But the Redskins once traded away their entire operation to get RG3. We'll give you 4 first-round picks. We'll give you, how about you need our washer and dryer? We'll give you that. We got our chef, too. You can take our chef. We'll do everything just to get RG3. So that number 1 pick is very important regardless of who it's going to be. And there are 4 teams currently vying for that. The Redskins, by the way, that made that decision, oddly enough, still vying for that job. Just fired their coach. Coach was looking to get fired. It is a complete nightmare. They are playing against a team that has almost obviously attempted to get that, sent 3 of their best players out of town early, new head coach trying to build his own culture. They've been mediocre forever. The Dolphins, professional suckfest this year for them, are taking on the perennial suckfest Washington Redskins in a early tell of who's going to get that number 1 pick. Who is going to be able to edge out the other sucky team to not suck the most and ultimately lose the suckfest for the number 1 pick? Case Keenum starting for the Washington Redskins. Case Keenum has one of the biggest moments in NFL history with the Minnesota Vikings. One of the biggest moments in, I would say, football history. That Minneapolis Miracle. We show GIFs and clips on our YouTube videos, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. You don't have to follow us. YouTube will put us in front of you. We don't know why. YouTube is pushing our clips right now. We're very thankful for that.
Very, very thankful.
Very, very thankful.
Very, very
thankful.
Very, very thankful, YouTube. Very, very thankful.
Very, very thankful.
Very, very thankful.
YouTube, if you need anything, you let us know. But we put GIFs and clips into our videos on YouTube of the GIFs of plays and stuff like that. We put the GIF of the Minneapolis Miracle. It got a strike from the NFL. The NFL only cares about a certain number of plays. I think truly, deeply cares about them. The snowball kick, the tuck it thing, Super Bowl kick,
Immaculate reception.
and that Minneapolis Miracle is in that list. There's more. We can't, I mean, if we sat here and thought about it, we could figure it out. But the Minneapolis Miracle is now, well, we got a strike from the NFL. They're like, take that video down. We're like, what's wrong? They're like, Minneapolis Miracle, bro. Even if it's a GIF, even if it's public property, even if everybody can use it, not in this world, not in this lifetime. Case Keenum was the originator of that. The Minnesota Vikings said, yep, get the hell out of town. We don't care. See you later. Go to a new team. Goes to Denver, stinks. Now he's at the Redskins. He's on a stinky team. But Case Keenum has the ability to play well. And anytime there's turnover, there's a little bit of a freshness in the building. Like in the Redskins building right now, they've had Jay Gruden for 6 years of misery. Below average, very mediocre team. New head coach can bring a different energy, a different vibe, can motivate people. I think the Washington Redskins win this suckfest this weekend, but I don't think it will maintain. I think in a couple weeks they will suck bad again. So I think it will come down to the Redskins, Dolphins. Maybe Bungles slip in there, and we'll see how the mono Darnold is. But I think this is still going to be a 2-horse race regardless of who wins this for the first overall pick. But I think the Redskins win this weekend over the Miami Dolphins.
I mean, Bill Callahan might as well be big-time Tommy Callahan, for as much as that matters. But say that Jay Gruden didn't get fired this week, you would have less confidence in the Redskins this week if Jay was still a coach versus the interim, correct?
1,000%. Because whenever there's new, you got to prove yourself to a new person now, right? So any contentment on sucking that you potentially had, it kind of goes away for at least a week because it's fresh. There's new way the team meetings are going. There might be a new schedule. It kind of just refreshes everything and kind of energizes the team. No matter how bad they are, they can get a little energy. So with that being said, I think Case Keenum and the Redskins beat the Miami Dolphins this weekend, but I still think they're going to be involved in the first overall pick, which should be good for Washington Redskins fans, depending on how Dan Snyder decides to screw it up with who he hires as the head coach. If big-time Tommy Bill Callahan, I make American.
Yep.
I make American parts for the American man because that's what I am, right?
And that's who I,
I
care
make
about.
car parts for the American working man because that's who I am and that's who I care about.
Auto parts.
Big-time Tommy Callahan might be able to turn them around for a little bit. I don't know if he'll be their head coach. I assume they're going to look for they're going to look for a Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
By the way,
No
That's
one
who they
wants to
had.
coach there.
Rex Ryan said he'll take that job. He said that on Get Up. He said that before. I don't know who's going to want that job, but a head coaching job in the NFL is always good because the money's always good. But boy, I think the Redskins win that, and that sucks for Gumpy and the Dolphins. Gumpy, by the way, the Canadian that used to work for us, still does work for us, but he's going to have to do it remote for, my understanding,
The rest of his life.
maybe the rest of his life. It's hard to get into America from Canada, turns out.
Sorry, pal.
Didn't know that. Didn't know that. He should try to get adopted by Steve Nash, maybe. We'll see how it goes. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Willie Mcginest is on the other side. Yes, that Willie Mcginest. We'll talk about Danny Dimes' potential chance of dying tonight. Probably high. We'll also ask him about, I think he was in high school with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And we'll talk to him about everything else going on in the world. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We are live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thursday Night Football, Syracuse at NC State. I'll be commentating alongside Matt Hasselbeck, Adam Amin, and Molly McGrath. Just got a tweet. For the last 2 hours, I've told you on numerous occasions that if you can, you hammer the Patriots tonight minus 16.5. Still currently at FanDuel minus 16.5. Probably going to jump to 17 or 18 because 85% of the money is on the Patriots against the Giants tonight. Just because I know how impossible it is to go into Foxborough and play good football. It's very, very difficult, especially on a short week for a rookie quarterback. Now, maybe it'll just be backyard football for Daniel Jones. Maybe it'll just be backyard football where he's running for his life. But 4 of his top targets are out. That defense was good for a couple weeks. Last week they were off. Who knows what they're going to be? Big question mark. This sounds like the Patriots are just going to dominate this evening and possibly put up a 50-burger against the New York Giants. And if the New York Giants throw a passing touchdown, it'll be the first one of the season, which hasn't happened since 1970. Thanks to Trey Wingo's tweet, we have that stat. But at Good Better Bets, which is our gambling podcast, the Twitter account, Gumpy just tweeted out what, Diggs?
That the favorite is 0-6 against the spread in the last 6 Thursday night games.
So for the last 6 weeks, for those that don't know gambling, the team that was minus something to go in are 0-6 because of short week. That doesn't matter. That makes me believe even more that tonight the Patriots are just going to slaughter the Giants. That's like when you go up to a roulette table.
I know, yep.
And they have that stupid poll that's telling you what it was last time. That means nothing, especially when you're talking about Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the New England Patriots team that's incredible. Now, if this was Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, insert obligatory Cowboys talk on the show. You don't know what you're going to get with that team.
You don't.
You don't know what you're going to get with Kellen Moore. You don't know what you're going to get with Dak Prescott. That's why you can't know if Jerry Jones is literally contemplating giving him the money that he's thinking about he's having to give him. Because that offense, we're back to the Cowboys being the Cowboys of old. I said that the Cowboys, for the first time in a long time, are a good team. It's beautiful. But now we don't know if they are a good team. We have no idea because that offense with Kellen Moore, who looks like a child, he should grow a beard. Rex Ryan said he should put a hat on and hide it a little bit. Whatever he wants to do. I don't think your appearance matters, but he does seem like he's getting outwitted in these games, relying on Dak instead of Zeke. And now the conversation is, well, is he going to pay him? It's like, who knows if he should? So you don't know with that team. You don't know with a lot of NFL teams. But when you're talking about the Patriots in Foxborough, it's a pretty safe bet that that team is going to show up and show up well.
Especially, like you said, the Cowboys. So they beat the Redskins, the Dolphins, and the Giants. Not good. But they lost to Green Bay and New Orleans. Both very good. We need them to play a middle-of-the-road team.
We need to play middle road because that's what they are. But tonight, the New England Patriots just are going to do what the New England Patriots do.
I think so.
What is Belichick's record on Thursday night?
12-3.
12-3 on Thursday night in Foxborough is so impossible to play. Talking about a rookie quarterback going against Bill Belichick's big-ass brain, I think minus 16.5 is nowhere near what it should be. I think it should be minus 24, minus 28. But a man that could definitely answer our questions and give a little bit more insight on why Foxborough is impossible to play at, why I think that the Patriots are going to win by 40, a man who's probably going to agree with me when it comes to that, an incredible football mind, a man who literally played in the NFL for 14 seasons. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, a three-time Super Bowl champ, 86 sacks in his career, most career postseason sacks at 16, a man who accrued 582 tackles from Long Beach Poly and USC, ladies and gentlemen, NFL Network brain, Willie Mcginest. Willie.
Pat, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Everything is good, Willie. How is life? I hope it's incredible. Let's ask about one thing and one thing alone. Tonight, the Giants, with a rookie quarterback, have to go into Foxborough. They are underdogs by 16.5 points, and I don't think that's enough. I think the Patriots are going to win by 40. Do you agree or disagree?
Can we back up really quick before we get into that? And can you give me my other credited year? I played 15 years, Pat, not 14.
Whoa!
It was a tough year. It was a tough year in Cleveland that last year. So let's not discredit that last year. 15.
Hey, Willie, Wikipedia, which is a known impeccable source, is screwing you out of a year, we will make sure we get on that and edit that, and we will change that because you deserve every single year, especially in a position that is as combative as you were. 15 years is impressive, as is 14, but 15 is even more impressive. With that being said, tonight, New England, Foxborough, why is it impossible to win up there, and why are the Patriots going to win by 75 points tonight?
That's funny. We just got our production meeting, and Steve Smith said $2 billion to nothing. That was but you can't fall for those type of games, man. You can't play down regardless of the injuries and who's on the field and the team's record. You know, and I'm not going to throw in the history, y'all. The Giants have played the Patriots the best, not the same teams, totally different. But Foxborough is tough to play in, man. This team historically plays well at home. They're able to go out and start fast. They score points. The defense will be going. The crowd will be into it. Everybody's excited about this team right now. And then, frankly, when you look at the Giants, man, just not a lot of firepower offensively, I don't think, to keep up. You know, major injuries in critical positions. Your quarterback is there, but, you know, he's not. Who is he throwing to and who's running the football? Not to discredit the other guys, but they're not Saquon Barkley. Shepard is out. Evan Ingram is out. It's just too much to overcome, I believe. So I think it'll be tough. If they have a great system in place where they're going to try to keep the Patriots off the field, the weather may play into effect. It's going to be windy and rainy, so that may slow things down a little bit, but still going to be tough to overcome.
You're listening to Willie Mcginest. He is an NFL Network analyst, and you can see him tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern on NFL Game Day Kickoff, live from Foxborough in New England. I said this earlier today. I said I thought that Tom Brady literally thrived off of the home field advantage. You see him sprint down and do the let's fornicate and go to the crowd. He's a man that rides off of emotion. He has a lot of passion. He's just a completely different player in Foxborough. Am I right or am I wrong?
Talking about Tom?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean he's at home and he's got the home crowd, and I think it's different. You don't have the noise, you don't have the things. You can communicate better at the line. You know, defensively, it's an advantage for us because they're loud, and sometimes teams have to go to silent count and our get-offs and everything is better for us. So having that home crowd, having that energy is always great. Any little thing you do, they're going to go crazy and make noise for you. But just being at home, just the operational part of it too, being more comfortable, knowing where everything is, knowing how parts of the field. The play clocks, every single thing, and you played this game, Pat. You know how it goes, man. So does it give you an automatic win? No. But does it help you a lot? Yes.
Home field advantage is a real thing in Foxborough. Not every place has a home field advantage. I mean, Jacksonville down there, hopefully they can turn it around with Gardner Minshew, the energy down there with Nick Foles. But that place was just a Vegas pool party happening while the game's happening. They don't even know who has the ball. There's a lot of places like that. In Foxborough, it is a real advantage. Speaking of Foxborough, the home of the New England Patriots, it's so interesting because you do drive through like a neighborhood before you get there. Everybody talks about Green Bay being like that. New England's also like that. It's the community's team. You can feel that. Robert Kraft owns that team. Bill Belichick runs that team. That organization, it came out whenever they cut Antonio Brown that there was maybe a little disagreement on that thing. I didn't know that happened. I thought whatever Bill Belichick wanted to do up there, he did. Am I wrong in thinking that, or is Kraft also involved in a lot of the decisions?
Well, I think it's a team effort, and Kraft is a big part of a lot of decisions, things that's happened. He's ownership. He's involved. He's not one of those owners that travels during the year and is all over the place. He's at every game, and, he's vested, and this is his team. He's built this team. In saying that, yeah, Bill Belichick does have the power of all the operational parts of the football field. But when it comes to major decisions and things that are happening, I'm sure that they have conversations. They talk things over, especially in really important decision making. So what are you going to do, man? I think they come together and they sit down and they try to make what's best for the organization and for the team. Is it in one-sided favor every single time? Probably not. And I think whenever you're trying to delegate or talk or come to a happy medium with something, whatever it is and whatever's going on, you're not going to always always agree 100% with one side, but you got to figure things out and at the end of the day move on and not let it become a distraction. And the goal is to try to win games and move forward.
Eliminating distractions and winning games has been something that this Patriots dynasty that you were at the beginning of and played a vital role in is not normal for a lot of places, especially within your division. The Miami Dolphins are some of the best suckfest teams I've ever seen in my life. They're playing against the Washington Redskins this weekend. The situation in Washington is hilarious. The situation with the Dolphins is that they are obviously trying to get a better pick in the draft this upcoming year, so the years of mediocrity will no longer happen. In your eyes, which team sucks more, Willie?
Hey man, let's just say they're not doing well this year. And I think it's bad. It's extremely bad when you fire a coach 5 games in. So that's saying a lot for Washington. But I think they'll work it out. They'll figure it out. And Miami being in rebuild mode, we knew that they would struggle this year. We knew things wouldn't be great. And they have the time. The organization have the patience with the coaching staff. They understand and know what they're trying to build there, and it's going to take some work, and it's not going to be pretty, throughout the build-out. It's not looking that way now, and for the players, it's tough because you want to go out and you want to compete and you want to win games and you want to play at a high level and you want to be respected most of all. So, as a player, my suggestion to them was just, hey, just go out and work. If you're part of the plan and the blueprint going forward, then that's what you're putting out there. That's your resume. If it's going somewhere else, then that's what they're going to see on film. But can't quit. You got to do exactly what you're asked to do. You got to do your job. I know that sounds, typical, but it is. You got to look in the mirror, do your job, and do it to your best ability. You can't control all the things that are going around. And that goes for Washington too, man. So they'll figure that out.
Patriot Hall of Famer Willie Mcginest is joining us. Last question here because we got to wrap up. So thankful you joined us. Patrick Mahomes seems to be the superhero of a quarterback. He's a highlight reel waiting to happen. When you injure your left ankle and a lot of your stuff revolves around mobility, and granted, we're not their doctors, we don't know, but do you think the Chiefs are potentially in trouble both with Matt Patricia figuring out how to stall them and the Colts taking advantage of that and Patrick Mahomes being injured a little bit with his left ankle? Do you think the Chiefs are in trouble or do you think they're still in play for the AFC no matter what?
Absolutely not. I think this is a really good football team. I think they're dealing with more injuries than just Pat Mahomes. I think he'll be fine. Kid has a rifle. I mean, he can throw the ball 150,000 yards down the field, throw it through a wall. So, yes, he would like to get out, and his athletic ability does allow him to do more within the pocket. But he can also throw it anywhere on the field from the pocket. So I'm not worried about them. They will get healthy. They're one of the better teams in the AFC, and they're going to be right there at the end.
Is that something that's real there? Matt Patricia kind of stalled them out a little bit, and then the Colts were able to do it. It's a copycat league. Is that something that whoever plays, the Houston Texans play them this weekend, is Bill O'Brien just going, hey, let's do whatever the hell the Lions did and whatever the Colts did?
Well, I think when you're putting together a game plan, part of that game plan is you want to limit opportunities for Pat Mahomes in that offense, and you want to keep them off the field. And the big thing of doing that is running the football. I think the coach did a great job of doing that and still in the time of possession. I think Detroit tried to do that. I also think you got to confuse them on the back end with coverages and mix things up. You can't let them see the same thing time in and time again, and you got to be able to put pressure on as you do that. Both teams were able to do that as well. But at the end of the day, you can't make mistakes. You can't turn the ball over and give them other opportunities. And you got to be successful. You got to pretty much play flawless because they may struggle throughout 3 quarters like they did against the Detroit Lions, and then that last quarter or half a quarter, they'll pop out and make a huge play.
You couldn't have said it better, Willie Mcginest. Check him out tonight on NFL Network, 6 p.m. We're so thankful you joined us, Willie. Have a good one. Patriots win by 45 tonight. This has been a Pat McAfee Show. Thank you for listening and watching. Willie, thank you so much, dude. We literally, the show went off the air there. You had such a good answer. I was happy we got it in.